Hear why a group of veterans are upset over Pakistani officials laying a wreath on Memorial Day. And diplomacy takes center stage as international musicians perform on Main Street, USA. Hello, I'm Esther Vida. Welcome to San News, bringing you news, views, and entertainment from the South Asian community in the United States. We start with a follow-up to a story we brought you a few weeks ago. We spoke with 3 Pakistani government officials visiting Andover, Massachusetts, and other cities and towns during a cultural exchange program. They met with local education and government officials and took part in social and cultural gatherings. All of them had very positive things to say about their experience. We also talked to the town manager, who told us this type of people-to-people diplomacy is critical for the relationship of the two countries. But according to an article in the Andover Townsman, the American Legion Post 8 was upset because a town selectman asked a Pakistani government official to help lay the wreath honoring veterans during Memorial Day ceremonies. Ted Whitman, commander of Andover's American Legion Post 8, said he received, quote, 16 or 17 letters or 18 emails from veterans about the wreath laying. He told the townsman, quote, Osama bin Laden was hiding in Pakistan when he was killed by U.S. Navy SEALs last year. Brian Major, the selectman who asked one of the men to lay the wreath, told the townsman that this was never planned. Instead, he says, quote, I saw this as a great opportunity to have them share and experience what makes America the great country that it is and how we pay respect and we honor so deeply our veterans, especially those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, end of quote. Selectman Major says the issue has since been resolved after he met with members of the Legion. Diplomacy can happen in boardrooms and conference rooms, but it can also happen in other unique venues like a stage or a classroom. We've talked often here on San News about people-to-people diplomacy. Now the U.S. Department of State is launching a pilot program called Centerstage. It brings foreign performers and musicians to Main Street, USA.
Sufi rock bands from Lahore. Hip-hop from Yogyakarta. Master Haitian troubadours. Acclaimed at home, but little known to many Americans, contemporary performing artists from Pakistan, Haiti, and Indonesia will tour the U.S. as part of Centerstage, an initiative of the U.S. Department of State. Centerstage brings cultural diplomacy to Main Street.
We spoke to Stacey White, Chief of Cultural Exchange Division at the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs in New York via Skype.
Stacey, welcome to San News.
Thank you very much for having me.
Centerstage brings artists from Pakistan, Indonesia, and Haiti to the United States for a diplomatic program. It's a pilot program. Tell us about it.
Well, we're very excited about this new cultural diplomacy initiative on the part of the State Department. Like many of our initiatives, it's a public-private partnership, and we're partnering on this one with New England Foundation of the Arts. The whole idea is to bring some musical, dance, comedic acts, actually some really important talent from different countries to the United States and give them a chance to perform and travel and meet Americans that they wouldn't normally get a chance to meet. So it's a sort of a diplomacy comes to Main Street sort of idea, so that they will be traveling around the U.S. and performing and doing workshops and meeting with students and collaborative events with American artists.
And these events are free to the public. What do you hope that comes out from this?
Well, this is part of what the State Department does as part of our citizen diplomat people-to-people exchange programs. For more than 50 years now, we've been doing a variety of cultural exchanges around the world, and this arts-based, performing arts in this case exchange, is something that we hope will give Americans a better idea of other cultures and, in fact, maybe a more nuanced view of other countries from the experiences that they have with these artists, and give these artists a chance to really experience America, sort of beyond the headlines and into the actual villages and towns, and I think close to your area they'll be in Connecticut and Vermont and other sort of middle American cities and smaller locations to have these sorts of genuine experiences between people that will increase mutual understanding for both of our countries.
Stand-up comedy from Karachi.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified, thinking how you want to impeach this handsome guy.
And Stacey, you mentioned going beyond the headlines, and the reality is, for instance, Pakistan, the headlines have said that relationships are in a gridlock between Washington and Islamabad. How do you hope this type of people-to-people diplomacy will help on a grander scale?
Well, we always hope that our people-to-people diplomatic programs will contribute to the relationship by creating this sort of deeper personal ties between individuals and to give people the chance to sort of reflect on the commonalities between individuals and between cultural and arts. You know, cultural is a great way of understanding a society more deeply. It reflects a society. A place like Pakistan with a very rich cultural heritage is a place that it will be very exciting to explore in the minds and in the individual experiences of Americans through this kind of experience. So that we hope that our artists who are traveling here get a broader perspective, and all of this will contribute to the sort of mutual understanding that's important in our relationships between our countries.
So you're saying part of the reason that music was chosen as a venue, because one thing that most cultures, or all cultures, have in fact in common is music.
Yes, that's right. I think that through performing arts, through music, through dance, but also through other arts-based exchanges, people are going to get that chance to sort of connect on another level and understand something about a place and really sort of feel it.
Do you think people in the United States will be a bit apprehensive, for instance, taking a country like Pakistan, who some have blamed it for harboring terrorists? Do you think some Americans will be apprehensive, and how do you break through that?
Well, you know, I think that our country, being a nation of immigrants and being a welcoming people and a multicultural society ourselves, is one of the most open countries in the world and one of the most willing to look at other people and try to get to know other people, because in fact we are a nation that is made up of many different types of communities from around the world. Diversity is our strength, and I really think that that's going to be something that we'll see through this program as well.
Will there be a reciprocal program? In other words, will artists from the United States go to countries like Pakistan?
That's happening all the time. We have many different cultural programs where we send out a variety of American musical groups, dance troupes, filmmakers, and poets, writers. This is part of that ongoing 50 years worth of people-to-people exchanges that we've been doing all around the globe. So yeah, that's a very important part of our outreach as a country.
And have you seen specific instances where these types of people-to-people diplomacies have been fruitful? Specific examples. On this show, for instance, we've featured a number of these people-to-people diplomacies. We've had people from Pakistan, for instance, government officials visiting towns and cities here to try to learn from the United States and bring some of those things back and to form some partnerships. But have you seen down the line this being effective and fruitful?
Well, I really think that there's probably as many examples as there are programs, and just to name a couple in the realm of arts and communications and that sort of world. We have had, for example, earlier this year, we sent a mural artist, Max Moses, to Africa, and in Zimbabwe, he worked with the community there to create a mural art project that actually brought in young people to learn about HIV/AIDS prevention. And that was a very positive and strong example of how something that we're doing contributes to a world goal that we have to contribute to health in this area, and to also get the community involved in making a difference through a community arts project in partnership with an American. We have had many programs that go through Central Asia, and that we have received positive reports back from people that perhaps audiences will come in and view the American artists who hadn't really sort of connected with any Americans on a personal scale before. And I have to think that each time that that happens, there's a positive result out of the sort of minds being opened and the possibilities being raised for further exchange.
Sounds like a great program. Certainly goes beyond the headlines we always hear. All the bad things going on between the federal government. Certainly, this is a great example of going down to grassroots level. Thank you, Stacey, for your time.
Thank you very much, Israel. We appreciate it.
Pakistani pop. Through performances and people-to-people exchange, Centerstage brings communities together, on stage and off.
That's our show for this week. If you have any story ideas or comments, email me at esther@bostonlanka.com. And if you want to see past episodes, go to bostonlanka.com. See you next week on Sa News.